Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with here today with an article from The Federalist dated October 24th. And it says the Atlantic hit piece on Trump is a Psy-Op to justify post-election violence if Harris loses. So by the time you are listening to this video, if there's anybody out there listening to it at all, there's the Atlantic came out with an article about Trump that turns out was pretty much debunked like right away. It was about him. It was about the soldiers after, a soldier. I'm sorry, that she was killed on her base or something like that, and the sister came out and was like saying like Trump didn't say the things that he said, and that she actually voted for Trump, something like that. So I'm sure this article will go into it. I'm not remembering the details right now correctly for whatever reason, but here we go, and please don't vote for her. Anyway, it says the hit piece in The Atlantic is part of a psyop designed to provoke a third assassination attempt and justify mass post-election violence, which, again, when I'm recording this is, I think Trump is ahead right now, which don't be complacent, still go out and vote for him. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of violence afterward. I hope there's not, but I'm sure that's going to happen, and it's going to be the left-wingers, as it usually is, because they can't control themselves. So let's get into this thing, because I have prattled on long enough. It says, the outlandish hit piece on Donald Trump published this week by Jeffrey Goldberg at The Atlantic, which was immediately denied on the record by all the people who were in the room with Trump, isn't just a shoddy smear that would have never have passed a muster in a newsroom 20 years ago. It's more than that. It's part of a larger psyop to justify mass post-election violence if Trump wins in November, to signal activists to reject the results of the election, to divide the military, and to coax an insurgency out of the radical left-wing base of the Democratic Party and unleash it on American cities. So basically, we're looking at probably Summer of Love 2020, probably times 10, maybe, is what I'm getting out of this, or times more than just what it was in 2020. It says Vice President Kamala Harris's shocking remarks Wednesday on the steps of the Naval Observatory should be understood in this light. Citing comments quoted in The Atlantic from former Trump Chief of Staff John Kelly, Harris explicitly compared Trump to funny mustache German guy and claimed that if elected, he will rule as a dictator and unleash the military on his domestic political opponents. Now, keep in mind here, the dictator thing Trump said is that he was only going to do it for one day, and he was kind of joking about it. And the unleashing the military on his domestic political opponents, well, go look up the rule the DOJ just got rid of now. They made it okay for them to use the military to kill American citizens. Don't believe me? Go look it up. You can find it. So which side is doing that again? Yeah, that's what I thought. And so once again, with the left, it's everything we accuse the right of doing, we ourselves are currently doing as we say it. So it says, he does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him, she said. He wants a military that is loyal to him personally, one that will obey his orders even when he tells them to break the law or abandon their oath to the Constitution of the United States. And there's nothing to back that up, so she's just fear-mongering. Harris went on to call Trump a fascist, which is a word that I guarantee you she could not define, even if she wanted to. And I'm sure most of the people on the left who use that word don't actually know what it is, because they always use it wrong. But she also said that he would claim he would be a dictator on day one. I already said that. I repeat a line she's been using often lately, that Trump will use the military to go after American citizens, using it as his personal militia to carry out his personal and political vendettas. What is he, like? She think he's like Julius Caesar or something? She closed by saying Trump is increasingly unhinged and unstable, and that he wants unchecked power. Says the woman that has already said she's going to like destroy the Constitution and everything about our country and the way it stands when she gets in office. But okay. So soon after her remarks, Harris's X account posted these claims without reference to Kelly or the Atlantic hit piece, repeating the funny mustache German guy smear and all the rest as fact. So here, yeah, and here's, I'm not going to repeat it again, but here's one embedded tweet. And that Kamala HQ account, if anybody out there follows it, I don't think they've ever said anything even remotely truthful, so do not trust anything that they say. They get fact-checked pretty much all the time, and they're just never right about anything. Continuing on, says this is not just the normal heated rhetoric that comes out in the final weeks of a close presidential election. This is something else. This is at least a tacit call for violent resistance, for insurrection, and even for a third assassination attempt against Trump. It's hard to overstate how reckless and dangerous this is 2 weeks before an election that Harris appears to be losing. Having staked out this rhetorical ground, what is she supposed to say if she loses the election? How is she supposed to concede? Will she come out and say, sorry everyone, we tried hard to save America, but now you must all live peacefully under the new funny mustache German guy? She's not going to say that. She can't now. She's going to call for resistance. Patriotic resistance, she might call it, but it will be coded as a call for street violence or worse. After all, you don't just accept a funny mustache German guy like fascist regime, you fight it any way you can. And keep in mind, I don't know if the article is going to go into this or not. It doesn't really need to go into much, it just needs to mention it, I guess, is that the person that would need to certify the election if Trump wins is Kamala Harris, because she is the president of the Senate right now. So kind of like what Pence had to do when Biden came in the office, Kamala will be in the same position in hopefully just a couple months. So this is why, after the first assassination attempt back in July, many of us called for a cooling of the rhetoric coming from the left. Joe Biden's repeated insistence throughout the spring and early summer that Trump represented an existential threat to democracy created an opening for radicals and would-be assassins to take action against Trump. And then one of them actually did in Butler, Pennsylvania. Even after Trump was shot in the face, Democrats didn't listen. Harris picked up right where Biden left off, repeating the line over and over that a second Trump term would be the end of our democracy, the last election, the rise of an authoritarian regime. If those are the stakes, what are people supposed to do? Vote and hope for the best? Of course not. Harris and the Democrats kept pushing the line that a Trump presidency meant the end of America as we know it. And so, inevitably, there was a second assassination attempt. And now, as we come down to Election Day and Harris's campaign looks to be failing, they are going in one last time, more explicitly than before, to make the case that Trump is funny mustache German guy, and his return to the White House means the end of American democracy. And it's not just Harris or her campaign pushing this. On Wednesday, White House Press Secretary, the incompetent Karine Jean-Pierre, was asked whether Biden agrees that Trump is a fascist and a would-be dictator. She said he does agree, and then went on a long rant about how dangerous Trump is, how we can't forget about January 6th, and I'm sure I'm about to get one of those little wiki notes on here, but January 6th, she's lying if she's saying that thing was even remotely anything other than just like a riot that got a little bit out of hand. So it says how we can't forget that 2,000 people were told to go to the Capitol and undo a free and fair election by the former president. That is something that never happened. That is a total lie. And why doesn't anybody in that room call her out on that publicly? Because it's a lie. It's a provable. It's one of those lies that's provably wrong. That we could easily go and just say, this is what Trump said. We know what he said. You can go look it up, but they just won't. So is this reckless and dangerous? Is it designed to prepare the ground for mass violence? Is it assassination prep? Yes, it's all those things. But understand that we're not dealing with a normal political party here. We're dealing with an ensconced institutional oligarchy that has already executed a coup against the previous Democrat nominee and sitting president, that would be Joe Biden, of course, forcing him to end his re-election campaign. They've already discarded millions of Democrat primary votes to install their handpicked successor, despite their claims to care about preserving democracy, which, again, remember, Democrats are very good at talking the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Okay, so whenever they say preserving democracy, first, again, we don't have to get into it, but we're not a democracy. And also, they don't seem to know what democracy means either. So they have already refused to tone down their incendiary rhetoric despite 2 assassination attempts against Trump. In other words, these are not people who care about political norms. They care about power and power alone. And by invoking the specter of funny mustache German guy and fascism, Harris is laying the groundwork for a post-election display of power that will shock the country, ruin our cities, and paralyze our civic life. And even if you think it goes too far to say that Harris and the Democrats are tacitly calling for violence in the event of a Trump victory, at the very least they are providing a permission structure for a vast swath of the Democrat Party to reject the results of the election. And we all know what that means. Yes, we do. And they're already planning. I've even seen Jamie Raskin, I don't even have words to describe what I think of that man. Like, it would get me kicked off of Earth, not just this platform, if I could say it. But he's already said that they don't know if they're going to certify the election. We're going to see what happens, sort of thing. I don't remember his exact words, but he has said that, and some others as well. So remember, but they're not the threat to democracy. You on the right, you are. Trump is, not them. So yeah, that's basically it. I kind of agree with a lot of what's in this article, that they're just kind of prepping for something worse that's going to come down the line. And trust me when I say it's going to be everybody else's fault, not theirs. So let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Do you agree that violence is on the way if Trump wins? Honestly, I think there might even be a little bit if Kamala wins. But in any case, let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.